multitasking. So I know Peter's going to be taking notes, right, Peter? And
Yep.
adjusting the document as you need. But I'll be listening in, and if there is some question you guys have for me, I'd be happy to chime in.
Well, Karen, before your attention gets directed away, I know at one point you sent me a bunch of links, and I just want to say that I haven't had a chance to go and find those, but I think some of the stuff you put together that we haven't incorporated yet into the document is going to be really going to beef it up quite a bit. So
For the projects and initiatives, do you mean?
well, I think we're also trying to have like kind of a reference, just a list of assorted web pages or whatever on some of them. I'm not sure that that's okay, but
Sure, I can look for those and maybe put the links in the chat. Does that work for you, Peter, to add to the document through the chat?
Yeah, that should be
Okay,
fine.
I'll look for those as I have time.
yeah, and if you don't get them today, not sure whether people are going to want another meeting. Kayla, is that you? Did you jump in?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So is that everybody?
I think it is, and I just want to say, everybody, if I should suddenly be muted, it's because my veterinarian is calling me, and this is the only time I have to talk to her. So
Okay.
I have radio silence. It probably won't take long.
Alrighty, so you go ahead and start by pulling up of the document. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Can you make it a little bigger, maybe, please?
Let's maybe. How's that?
Better. So, Karen, are you still on? Because how we will fund arts, culture, and education was a concern. I thought in the big vision.
I am still on, yes.
Okay, so I thought in the big vision we weren't necessarily supposed to be talking about funding as yet until projects and initiatives or goals and objectives have been identified. So if this is an idea, I think it would go under
Yeah, I agree. So, some of the things you guys have talked about and the public's talked about with you are things like forming an arts and cultural nonprofit kind of membership-based group that would sort of take charge in this and could go for grant money and all that kind of stuff. That's a perfect example of a project or initiative. And that would be one of the ways that you could look for both leadership and potential funding to move some of these initiatives forward.
Exactly. So I think looking into this, adding a line item would be one, Peter, and then we'll also put the you guys have to give me, my brain is really tired. The other one you were just talking about, the board that would funnel volunteer energy and out into grant opportunities and coordinated efforts. So those would be down at the bottom. We could write those in now while we're talking about them.
May, can I interject? Instead of, you might want to put something in there that also indicates that you could possibly work with other organizations in town that have already gotten a 501c3 and not just go out. I mean, it takes a long time to get that. So why not partner with somebody who already has one if it's if the project is appropriate?
I agree with that.
Yep. I even have one, and I'm sure other people do. So
yeah, there's
that's a great idea.
Okay. So you want me to put that in now? I think, or something for that?
Might as well.
Something to the effect of, partner with existing nonprofit entities to further the goals.
Well, I think we want to differentiate here, Dawn. We want to find, we're not looking to, are we talking about, let's keep it broad, but also that we want to investigate potential
Okay.
new partnerships. Isn't that right, Kayla?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay, good.
I mean, the Backdoor Theater has one. We can certainly partner with arts organizations, and the Community Center Foundation Board is a 501c3. And its whole purpose for being in existence is to help what would have been organizations in the community looking for granting opportunities in the
Yes,
arts area.
absolutely.
For sure.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Is that Dawn on? Are you Dawn?
It is.
Dawn?
It
Hi,
is.
Dawn.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How's your grandbaby?
I'm putting in the chat the different links that we had shared with May, just so Peter can add those to the bottom of your kind of projects and initiatives.
Okay, so Peter, did you get those two down at the bottom? Or,
I haven't added, like, where would you like me to add them? I'm not,
well, let's do what we did on the other ones and we'll just write project initiative after that one.
just after education?
No,
Not,
I think this is getting pretty intractable for me. Go back up to the very beginning.
okay. So we got vision statement, goals, and objectives.
So it was the first comment. Okay. The suggestion of adding a line item, this would be a project or initiative.
Sorry, I'm not seeing that.
Okay, looks like this isn't gonna work,
Peter,
Peter.
I don't know if they actually started a separate category yet.
We haven't.
Yeah, so
Oh,
what
okay.
you need to do at the very bottom, put projects and initiatives as just a separate subcategory. And those will be the things. And so guys, if you are talking about things that should definitely be included in there, make sure Peter knows that it's in this new section.
All right. Okay, that's where I was like, hung up with. Okay. So we're thinking of
existing nonprofits.
okay.
But
I
it
would
was
say
more than that.
Partnering with appropriate existing nonprofits.
To enlarge volunteer base and write grants. Is that what you said, Karen? Or plan for grants,
It
okay.
depends. I mean, if you know, there's so many different ways to go about it. So you could partner with the nonprofits to start the dialogue about how best to advance some of these initiatives, and you know, especially funding, seeking more funding through grants and other contributed revenue. Most communities have like an arts and cultural membership-based group that artists and art organizations, cultural organizations can all belong to for a minimum fee, and then they collectively work together on some of these initiatives and grants and things like that. So anyways, but it sounds like you guys want to make sure you're also saying talk to the existing nonprofits as well, to explore a way to advance these initiatives and
Oh,
find
that's
funding.
in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You've already
saying.
got that.
Yep,
So
sure do.
then would that, Karen, while we have your attention, would that be a different bullet point from the line item? You know, I think I don't know. I think that is a long jump away having a line item, but plan for eventual maybe, or discuss potential ways to fund a position, which would be a line item on our budget. How would you phrase that, Karen?
Are you talking about the town's budget or this
Yeah.
potential nonprofit?
No, now I'm talking about the town's budget, because I'm still on comment 1 there over on the right-hand column. The first comment on the right of the document.
Because I mean, there might be potential for a paid position, but it could be through the DDA. I mean, they just did the public art master plan, and I know they're coming back to their board to see if they can hire somebody to help advance that. So I don't know if I would limit it necessarily, but word it however you want to word it. Have a dialogue with the town, the DDA, and other partners regarding potential for a paid position.
Yeah, that's why I'm
in
wondering if this
culture.
could be part of the line above, because it does involve other organizations, and in the end, it would all be for the same goal, right? Advance initiatives and expand memberships and potential grants and opportunities.
You could just include that, May, and say
I agree.
with appropriate existing nonprofits and organizations, and that would include the town, to explore ways to advance initiatives and ways to expand memberships and grant proposals. So that would not exclude the town. So we don't have to make a separate line for that.
I agree. Okay, great. Man, that didn't take long, right? But these are big items. So I think we're ready to go back up to the top.
Okay. All right. So it looks like the first part is the vision statement here. Adding a line to it to celebrate our community's creativity and natural and cultural resources while empowering lifelong learning and engaging the community in opportunities throughout town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. How does everybody else feel?
Sure.
Yep, works for me.
Okay. That's a nice addition.
All right, we will accept that one. All right. So this one might be a little out of date. There was a comment here from Atashna about purchasing Snyder's Garage. I'm not sure. Or that one was accepted, it looks like. Or something.
I don't think we talked about it.
That would be a
Okay.
project and initiative.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's actually very complicated because it's a Brownsfield. I mean, there's a lot of
Mhm.
contamination there.
Yeah.
And I
But
think
instead of saying that, I mean, it makes more sense to say, to explore opportunities to purchase property identified to be utilized for, arts, cultural, and education or something. And
Or
again,
purchase or rent,
purchase, lease, utilize. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to say that?
We could, yeah. Explore properties for the purpose of working artists, ops, art co-op space or something. I don't know. Are designated for artistic space. So is that vague enough?
For communal co-op use, or do we want to get that into it? I think that was
We
kind
do want to
of,
get that into there because we're not talking about somebody's little private thing. We're talking
yeah,
about,
because
yeah,
that's what the Tashna says, co-op spaces. I think the first two letters are chopped off in my
Yeah.
screen, but yeah,
me
I
too.
like that. Export properties. Ooh, just jumped.
Designated
There it is.
community artistic or
Export
community.
properties.
Communal
Let's take
or-
out potentially.
Okay.
We've already got the modifier in explore. To export
For,
properties to designate for communal or
communal cooperative use of the
let's say
artistic.
co-op. Well, communal is a totally different thing. I'm
Yeah,
not sure that's
I
what
would,
we're talking about.
yeah, so you could say or cooperative. And then take out the or there, Peter, after. Oh, it should be for artistic use. It just says or artistic use.
Well, I have it written as designate for communal, cooperative, like you want to be
But we
like
already have,
and
you
artistic
know,
use.
the library and many rooms in the community center. This would be a room. Would it also be open to the public, do you think, people? I mean, what are we
I don't
talking
think-
about here?
No. If the, so change the and there to for, Peter. Right there, yes. Change that to for artistic use. Thank you.
So to designate for communal or cooperative
Use in artistic
Space.
ways. Does that read a little better?
No, that doesn't say what we were trying to say. For communal or cooperative artistic explore properties to designate for communal or cooperative artistic use.
So I can
Or
just kind
say,
yeah.
or
Get rid of all that.
endeavors.
Yes. Yes.
Because one is, are you talking about like a pottery barn or something like that? Or are you talking about using something as gallery space, which is different than making it, it's displaying it. So
We're not being
it
specific intentionally. We're being intentionally vague, so that could be discussed by the entities who were
exactly. I think you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so endeavors kind of says everything, if you don't like that.
No, that's great.
So Peter, we want to drop this down to the bottom. We could maybe start labeling arts is 1, culture is 2, education is 3, and then we'll start numbering them.
So like and then from there we can
Okay.
I do that?
So
Something
that
like
first
that?
one was under, well, that's kind of a general one. This one is what, culture? Arts. No, it's more arts. So yeah, this is an arts one, I guess. I always thought it would be good to just keep it as a barn and have a working farm in the middle of town with chickens and a milk cow and stuff. But it is a brownfield. So I'm with you there, Atasha. It's a beautiful landmark for our town.
Yeah, too bad it's not usable.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now the Old Town Shop over here, I still think it would make a great little place for pony rides. And, you know, we could build something, maybe a mini version, since they're ponies, of that barn. And you can always find that siding, or sometimes you can. So, but I think that that's part of Netherlands heritage, and I hope it doesn't go away.
I feel like the for sale sign by Snyder's Garage is gone. I don't know what the status of that is, but
Well, I think I think we decided to make it more general, Peter. Not going to say purchase
just-
Snyder's Garage, even though I agree with Natasha.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think,
Yeah.
Peter, that what I'm hearing is that the sentence that you just helped them craft,
yeah.
they want that moved from up above
Oh,
and put
okay.
down here under projects and initiatives.
Yeah,
Alright, yeah, we
so
can do
I
that.
don't think we're not talking, we're talking about exploring. We're not exploring properties. We're not talking about purchasing anything or building anything,
Yeah.
because that gets into so specific of things.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's way out of, to me, that's way out of the realm of visioning.
Okay.
But we're trying to serve the vision through a statement that could result in, at least acknowledgement that there are properties that would be
Absolutely, but I don't
nice
think
to
we call out
investigate.
Town Shop or the Snyder's Garage,
Mhm.
and start directing people about what to do. I think we leave that open to exploring.
Yeah, I like it as is. And the Bryant House would be a perfect place not to do that, but everybody wants to get the Bryant House in there. So I suppose that would be culture. We didn't have history. That would have been a nice um, thing to add. And if people are into it, since we have an extra week, we could try to add history. Because
So I know I saw some comments that were added, and I'm not sure that they're in this particular ACE document. I think they may have been in the whole Envision statement that did call out a lack of reference to the Historical Society and what the library is doing in partnership with the library that involves our history with in that culture.
And history falls under arts, culture, and education.
Sure.
And, there's cultural history, there's history in education, there's history that it transcends the arts. So you can include history anywhere you want in this document.
Well, Karen, I was thinking, and everybody, I had a really good idea, I thought, because I've been kind of mulling all these ideas and thinking we're short on history. And since we're trying to establish, I think we should be anyway, a new identity for Nederland, if we were to have our wonderful mining events and historical references and talk about people like Jimmy Griffith and what they were able to do, and at the same time use it as a platform to talk about mining, where the stuff is going, how mining is, what the laws are. Like a lot of the mining laws haven't changed in 100 years. I mean, that's a personal idea of how to wrap our history into a holistic vision, not of something that's dead and gone, but is part of an ongoing process of resource extraction.
One thing I want to suggest is you're almost halfway done with your meeting. And I know you have a lot of input that you've received. So maybe go through your input and see how much you can get done in the next half hour before you bring up any new ideas at this point. That's just my suggestion, just because you've got a lot of information in front of you and you might want to kind of organize or strategize how you're going to go forward in the next half hour.
Okay, well, let's start to try to zip through it, but we may not get through all of it. So, okay. Establish an art gallery. Okay, we just did that. Reestablish Art Fridays and partner with local organizations. Okay, that's probably a project initiative. So Peter, you can just write PI next to it.
Yeah, you could move that whole feedback from ACE Public Art Week session. That pretty much all could go into projects and initiatives.
Yeah.
Right now, just kind of
So they don't have to be categorized. Just just throw it in there, and we can go over it later.
Okay.
Did you get it in there?
Yeah, it's,
Okay,
I left it at
you're
the
always
bottom.
quicker than mine. I didn't see it.
So I like to zip around really fast in documents.
Yeah.
Had a
Okay, so when
suggestion
it's
to.
highlighted in orange like this, what does that mean?
I actually don't know. I've not had to use that feature before. I think it's comments that were left.
Yeah, it links to the comments.
Yeah.
So you know what the comment is referring to.
Oh, okay.
When you use
So
the
for
Google Docs, it'll do that sometimes.
yeah. So
I
for
mean, that's what
culture
I'm
here.
assuming.
Because it's Miranda's the one that put the comment here, so she put in something probably from.
Oh, yeah, about the financially solvent. I'm okay with that. It didn't come out. I don't know. I think the original idea was to have a good place for seniors in that, and so I don't think it had to do with housing. That got mixed up in it somehow, but I don't think we need to call that out.
Yeah,
I don't
because really
know.
the suggestion was to just remove long time.
So
Or I think the
I
person
struggled to see how that relates to culture. To guarantee, I just don't understand how that.
Well, I think it ties into like the housing thing, because there's really is a lot of friction in town, whether people know about it or not, because some people want to have an RV in their backyard because they have a kid that needs to live in it or whatever. And, whether you're a long time or even whether you're a local, I guess, if you were a landowner. But I think the focus in my mind was trying to be loyal to the locals. So that's it. I don't know whether, this is an important thing to spend a lot of time on. What's everybody think? Where do you want to go with it? Bonnie, what do you think? Is Bonnie still there? She has such a good way of being able to.
I'm here, and I think that it would be. I'm not tracking exactly because you're a lot of these comments are popping around, and I think it would be good to take one section and just stay focused on it. That's my suggestion. And talking about housing in relationship to culture, art, and education, it seems to me is not appropriate. The housing belongs in housing.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Okay.
I think it makes sense in our under culture.
So ended at preserving our local ecosystem.
Just kind of remove all of that.
Did we want to take it a little bit further beyond local?
We want to preserve the comment. We just want to move it to a different topic.
No, that's okay.
What we're saying?
We can get it into housing. I'm on that committee, so
Okay, perfect.
We'll make sure to take that into consideration.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense for Peter to delete the section he has highlighted to delete. So it ends at the local ecosystem.
So do we want to say our planet and our local ecosystem? Because some of the decisions Netherlands trying to make, I think are tying into bigger goals. But maybe I'm splitting hairs.
If you want to still leave it a little broad, you could just say something like united in our vision of preserving our local ecosystem and way of life. Maybe that's too broad.
And what? What was the last part?
Way of life.
Yeah.
That might be a little
I think
too
that's
broad.
a very subjective statement, though.
Yeah, united in our vision of preserving our planet, and I'd like to insert our planet if that's okay with everybody. And then if somebody else wants to take over, if they can go
how about
faster.
May? How about the planet and our local ecosystem?
Very good. Yes, much better. Thank you, Kayla. Okay, who wants to go? I'm getting hoarse. I need to pour myself some water. take it. Taylor, you want to take it away?
So I'm looking at this and just say, the only other thing, are we looking at the highlighted sections? Is
Yeah.
that what we're?
Yeah, we're going through all the highlighted, and the pink is stuff that came from various public outreaches as well.
Okay.
So next we have this Dark Sky Town goal.
And I believe that's already included in our design standards. It's either in our design standards or code. So
Yeah.
that could be advance the goal to be a dark sky town. And then
encourage
is that
I-
a project or initiative?
I would say it would be an initiative.
Initiative.
Yeah. So we should move that down. And I think it should be altered to say advance the goal because it's already been determined. And I can't remember if it's the design standards that the town adopted or it's actually in our code. And I know some of our code, I actually put it up a couple meetings ago that addresses this completely about how lights are installed out.
Yes.
Exterior lights. So it's already a goal, but we could maybe advance it somehow.
Okay. I just left that at the bottom with the other feedback for projects and initiatives that we are collecting.
But you lost the link. You didn't include the link.
It got moved to the next page. Fortunately, it's down here.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank
It
you.
just got cut off awkwardly.
Okay. Great.
All right.
So now
Going
we're looking
back
at the,
up.
are we looking at then the pink comments?
We have one more here. This exhibit historical photographs, articles, and artifacts through town. See arts. Engaging students in project development. See education. So we have.
Again, that sounds like a project or
A project.
initiative to me.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, now we have interpretive signage throughout town highlighting its history. The suggestion is to just add that.
Yes, but again,
Project initiative.
yes.
And the same thing with the next one.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and. After our meeting, I'll go through and make this look a little nicer than it does now, so it's not as confusing and all over the place. All right, so that's.
Peter, that's okay. Before you do that, I think we're going to need to continue working on it as a committee because I think we're skipping over some stuff. So that's fine. Let's get as much done as we can. But then we'll have to go back over it because I think we've skipped a few things.
Okay.
Well, we were going through just the comments that were added, and we weren't taking out anything that already existed, May. We were just adding.
I noticed one comment that I think should be put under project and initiatives related to signs in the town, was the one that said, over on the right, it said something about First Nations, the first peoples that lived here.
This one right here.
Yeah, that should be put in projects and priorities. I don't know where it is.
It's linked to the culture statement, so I'm just going to make a note here that we should move it to
Perfect.
projects. Okay.
So
Right.
Peter, you're moving past that one that was orange. I'm going to butt back in here. So did we address the comments on that?
On the
I
one
see
under
we,
Yes.
because I see there's
this one?
comments on the right that haven't.
Yeah. So
So-
this one for culture was that publicly recognized First Nations.
Okay,
And I just wrote move it to projects for right now.
I see. Okay, gotcha.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one is education. This actually has two separate ones. It has one for both education, the topic, which reads, need to incorporate education into the vision statement and outline the importance of our schools, need to better recognize and integrate the schools. And the follow-up to that was, it looks like you kind of already wrote stuff here about going through the idea of trying to speak for the schools, but they're already doing a good job.
Well, there is a thing in that comment that is good. If you go back, let's see, sustainable, inclusive,
Where are you at, May? I lost you.
It's a vision, it's a goal under education, and this was brought to us at the public outreach session. A lot
you
of
just
folks
jumped
actually believe that the schools weren't being really considered. And so this one was something that was recommended. Nederland area educational opportunities for K through 12 students are sustainable and inclusive and address the diverse needs of that population.
Yeah, I don't think that we can do that. I think the schools are already doing that.
This is
Well,
supposed
it
to
doesn't
include
say-
the schools. So these were people from the schools who said, you've got Envision 2030 here that has left out the schools. So because they're not on the committees, isn't a good enough reason to not include them in the envisioning. So that's why these people showed up at these various meetings and said, look, we represent the schools. We teach there, we're administrators, we send our kids there. We're asking you to include it. So you guys are representing education for the entire community. So that was the ask from many people
Yeah.
in several of these meetings. So I think you can't ignore it.
No, and Karen, can you the language is somehow to say something about integrating the educational opportunities in Nederland into the community as a whole, and that's not the right, I don't want to say that, but I see the schools need to be integrated, should be integrated into taking in consideration the housing, into the arts and culture, into the,
Well, and that's
sustainability.
Kayla, that's the word inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay,
That,
all right.
that is supposed to cover inclusivity, meaning all things considered, all people included. And this, I think, came directly from Envision 2020. But sort of, it might have been tweaked a little, but that was the point that these educators and parents were saying, is that, it was considered in 2020. Why are we not even talking about it in Envision 2030? So
Yeah.
No, I'm in agreement. I think that I don't like the fact that they aren't in this, and they do need to be in there, and in a way that they sort of touch, in some ways, all of the other categories that we're working on.
Well, I did reach out to, Vice Principal Doudna up at the senior high and Caleb Melamed at the elementary school and talked to them both a couple times. And they were, anyway, so I guess I feel like this is just it's not specific enough, but if everybody else likes it, that's fine. I mean, I think we're looking at it backwards. I think the town should provide an example, as Greta Thunberg says, you know, of the adults in the room, and that the school ties into the town, and that we should be leaders, and, you know, and I think that's what I would like to see in there if we want to try to get specific. But perhaps that is too specific. So I'm good anyway it goes.
So I think we have to think about what our job is. And I think that goes back to what Karen said is, we're the committee, we threw out a statement, and then at the, we asked for feedback from the public. So it's not just, 3 people putting it together. And this is what they came up with. So I think that we're obligated to state what was given to us.
And really, we've seen the best conversations, in my opinion, at these in-person charrettes that I know Dawn has attended and Kayla has attended, and I know, May, you weren't able to, which is fine. But those kind of really deep conversations where you really hear from people, we can't just ignore it. We have to include it. We have to be inclusive.
Well, there's no contest there. I'm just looking at it that the balance beam is kind of seems a little bit off kilter here to me, but
What is
Anybody
not
else
being
wanna-
included here, May? I'm a little lost at what we're losing. What's the piece?
well, inclusive in what way? I mean, not to pick hairs, but included how? Are like if we wanted to do public engagement right now, we'd have the survey going up to the school right now, and they could fill it out. But I don't know whether we have the giddy up to do that. So
Okay, you have about 15 minutes left in your meeting, just putting it out there. So not sure if you want to move on at this point and maybe look at some of the other input.
hi,
Yeah.
Donna,
I'd like to do that.
or some. Oh, that's Bonnie.
Move on.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to that. So that's the old statement. So here we have join the Boulder Initiative to recognize tribal stewardship. And the comment is, what does that mean?
Yeah, we'll flush that out with the webpage link.
And
Okay,
that could actually be, that could be a project and an initiative.
Totally.
Since it's so specific.
Yes.
Oh, very good. Yeah, great. Okay.
go ahead and move that. All right, so next, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth bullet point down on education. The changes we have here, the community supports traditional festivals like Miners Day and powwows. It basically cuts out the word financially.
Yeah, and I think we should add music festivals. I agree. We shouldn't say financial. I think what probably was being thought was maybe the town could, they generally have to have more police and stuff like that, but the community supports traditional. I don't know whether we can.
That should be
town-
that should
town
be under
enables-
culture. This whole line should be under culture.
Yeah, I agree with Bonnie.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Peter, what you could do is say like Miners Days, powwows, and music festivals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want me to remove financially? Everyone okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and then you could move it down to culture.
And then wouldn't it be the town of Nederland, not the community? We can't.
No,
Are
it's
we
the full
drafting this?
community because your businesses also support these and your library
Oh, I hear
does.
you.
And yeah,
Yep, I
it's more
gotcha.
than just the town. Yeah, it's the community. And
Okay.
even people outside
Great.
our town limits often help. Most of them, a lot of them are from outside our town.
And you want this one moved to culture, correct?
Yes, please.
Yes.
All right. So we have this feedback from PC, incorporate vision statement about the education goals from 2020. That is what we were looking at the top there.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's great. I love their goal. I think the school has a really great statement.
Would you want to use that statement in replace of the other statement about schools, or just add this as another goal?
I would like to make separate goals where what I said about we invite the schools to invite the students to partner with us in all the cool things we're doing.
We
But
do have that. We have that as another, I think that's either a project or initiative or another sub goal. But my point was going to be this one, every student in Netherlands schools is afforded the opportunity to succeed regardless of ability. Netherlands education system is strong, has high levels of parental involvement, and higher than average youth retention rates. All we would do, of course, is say in 2030, but do we see that as a goal or an objective?
I see that as a goal.
yeah, that's a goal because
Yeah, that's a good goal.
yeah.
So that one we want to keep Peter in education under maybe that first goal that was stated. That if we go back up and you go to, yeah, you were just there, go back up. So we have education, Netherlands area educational opportunities are sustainable and inclusive, blah, blah, blah. We could either, in my opinion, guys, you can either take the other rewording and replace this, or put the reword, the one down below under this as another major goal, but that's up to you guys.
I would say that to have less discussion about it, that including both goals as two separate statements is fine. Because they're different reflections.
Cool.
Sure.
Do you guys all agree?
I'm a yay.
Okay, cool. So Peter,
Okay.
that would just be another one of the goals under education.
Okay. Since it's a picture, I'm just going to change this wording to it later.
Perfect.
All right. So
And then the other stuff they had, like develop a youth advisory board, that's an initiative and project. I think acknowledge schools more in town. I know that was one person who was concerned that the porta potties were put out there by the Panther sign, but really the point was make sure that the town's communicating with the schools better. So my suggestion is develop a youth advisory board is a project or initiative.
Yes.
yeah.
And then communicating with the schools more directly, I think that could also be a project or initiative.
You think instead of acknowledge schools more?
I think that's not a project or initiative. I would disagree. I think that's a goal to
So
I do too.
communication.
How can you word that so it's bigger than
Increase in
partnership maybe between the town and the schools, or?
then that would be a project. Yeah. Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, we talked about incorporating signage to reflect Native American stuff, and I don't know, the Panther thing really is cool. We could maybe get that more of that around town. Just that alone might anyway, just a thought.
Okay, so I'm going to move develop a youth advisory board to projects.
And then the
You want me
childcare
to-
options are addressed below by that outreach session. Access for affordable childcare for children under 5 years old. You know, and so on. So
Okay.
that's already addressed. Depending
So-
on where this committee wants to put that feedback.
Mhm.
So would that be a goal or, it's a goal for sure.
That's more of a statement, and I'm looking at what's stated below.
Yeah. Yeah, this one just kind of goes with the next part.
What could we put in? Keep kids in the community as a goal, young children, and then, I don't know. My brain is too.
So
Right.
I'm looking at this one, May. So the partner with community organizations to plan and promote educational programming. So this is being done with so community organizations like Wild Bear does this, the Teen Center does this. Same with youth sports. Those are almost projects or initiatives. Those are initiatives, both to partner with community organizations and support youth sports. I would say those are initiatives. Anyone else have a comment? Any way on that?
Are you,
I
are
agree.
you doing any kind of an age group on that? Because then you could start saying there's the hockey club for the kids and the soccer club for the kids, or are you talking about, almost extracurricular, but not necessarily through the school, but it's programming that's out there for youth?
Well, that would be how I look at it. That's what I'm wondering how other people are reading this, because it's all true. Yeah, Netherland Youth Hockey, there's activities at the community center, there's Kung Fu for Kids, there's all kinds of dance classes.
Or are you looking at that from the age of 2.5 to 5, where they're in daycare, so to speak, or after daycare, or from 2.5 to 18? What are it's artistic and educational, cultural, and activities that enrich the learning process for our youth.
You could just say enrichment activities. Those are all enrichment activities, because that is inclusive of every kid's bent, whether it's athletic or artistic or outdoors.
Right.
Okay. So you want me to just kind of combine that into one project?
Well, those in detail could go down into the project and initiative, and then you could do one bullet point that's more like enrich the, I don't know what you guys would want to say, educational experience for all learners by providing curricular activity or whatever you guys want to say.
Support
But-
enrichment activities with community organizations for all Netherland youth. Would that work?
How about set up a network? Because I think we keep coming up against this in many different facets of the town. We need an information hub kind of, and maybe that would go to the thing we were talking about before for a
Public
person that
engagement.
was getting paid for arts. Really, you could use someone who's just maintaining a website and coordinating town and school activities in some way.
So that's a new initiative though, May.
Yeah,
It's a
and
separate
that's
thing.
already, community engagement's kind of discussing that, so I don't know, I would stay away from it. Plus, you guys have like 5 minutes, and I think you still have a lot of stuff to go through. I don't know, but you might want to try to hit on some more of these.
We're actually getting
Are we getting close?
a little closer. We're let's see, I kind of lost my place. Okay, so we are here. So I'll leave this alone for now. Is that the idea? I moved the other two to projects and goals and added this one about supporting enrichment activities for the community for all
Okay,
Netherland youth.
and they're going to come back, it sounds like, and work on this document
Okay.
individually and afterwards.
All right, so the next one is feedback from community engagement, develop a dedicated arts board, and establish activities that encourage community engagement around arts, sports, and etc.
And we've already talked about
We
both
just-
of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Develop a dedicated arts board
Yeah.
goes under a
Yeah,
project.
I think, yeah, these are more projects and initiatives.
Let's go ahead and move that.
Dawn, isn't that called like a rec district?
Let's not get started on that, guys.
No.
That is quite the rabbit hole to go down right now.
All right, we got some feedback from town staff.
Yeah, but the first one is already addressed in the
Yeah.
other one, so that's gone. That's already taken care of. Teachers are paid at or above regional median pay scale. That's an initiative or project, I would say.
Yeah.
What does that, wait,
Affordable.
I don't really know why that's in there because we as a town, I don't know if we have any control over that.
But remember, this isn't a vision plan for the town, it's for the whole community. I can't say that enough. But I'm fine if you want to just get rid of it. That's fine, but the goal.
What do you think, Dawn?
Well,
Dawn?
is this still in arts, education, and culture?
This is
Yeah, this is-
education.
Education,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay.
And I don't care what you guys decide to do with that, but the goal enrollment at K through 12 schools is stable or growing. That's also addressed in a previous statement, so that can go.
Yeah.
Objective, Netherlands schools offer unique academic and extracurricular activities that attract students from the peak to peak region.
We were just talking
again,
about that, right?
Yeah, remember that we're not talking about just the town government. We're talking about all the stakeholders, the schools, the nonprofits, you know.
Mhm.
But if you guys don't want to include that one, you don't have to either.
I think we definitely should include that one.
I like
Okay.
that one.
Yeah, what do you think about keeping the one about teachers are paid at or above the regional median pay scale?
I think that's a fantastic goal.
Okay. And we also have the one that kind of we skipped over, it was in the middle. Affordable and workforce housing units in the peak to peak region are designated specifically for the use of area K through 12 faculty and staff.
I think that should go into housing. I don't think that's, in my opinion, we've already addressed that. But if you want to put a little line item in there, I guess it's okay. But it is, well, it's redundant.
Okay,
So
so it
just
sounds like we'll take that out.
Okay. All right. And we have these two: environmental focus in schools and youth advisory board, which we already
Said that.
moved to that one, so we can get rid of that guy. So we just have environmental focus in schools.
Unique academic extra.
I think we covered this somewhat already in this, but I'm not sure if it's that clear. And we can't set curriculum, but support programs in schools that focus on the environment with partner, town-led, or town-coordinated events. How about that? Like something at the library or something like that.
I'm wondering if the intent of that comment was that directed toward like a focus school kind of like there's schools that are arts and there's for arts they're called focus schools or magnet schools. Is that what that comment was?
I think they were talking more about increasing awareness with the students about
Okay.
environmental concerns, you know, making sure we're recycling and composting. Let's make sure that sustainability is a focus in the schools and that it's part of the educational process. And I
But what
agree
does
with
it
May,
take?
it might have been addressed already.
But what is it? Does anybody really know what it takes to be a focused school?
Well, if that's not what was going on with that comment, I was just wondering what the intent of the comment was.
I see.
Based on what Karen said, I think that might have been like support environmental focus in schools, and then it's broad. Does that work?
That's kind of the impression I got just reading this.
Sounds good to me. So I see above that you've got whoa right there. Teachers are paid above the regional pay. You know, I see what Karen was saying about that as a kind of a community-wide goal. And I just wonder, I think it's demoralizing for people to have a goal they can never achieve. But Karen, how would a community support that? Just by getting teacher salaries raised all over, or trying to find a way to get a grant or something to put extra focus on the environment, for example, both at the school and in cultural events? I mean, what would that look like?
You know, I'm fine if you just want to take it out. Just take it out. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I think we're all for that,
Well,
but
it's an Envision, remember? And that's what schools are doing. That's what police departments are doing to try to attract and retain workers. They're offering like really good benefit packages. For instance, that's one of the first things I did when I started with the town is I couldn't give everybody huge raises, but I saw some areas we could improve the benefit. And then we did a study to see what are the police department, what are other officers getting paid in similar communities. You can make it happen, but remember, this is supposed to be a high level vision statement of what we see happening in the town in 2030. But I really feel like diving into all these details has removed us from that. And I'm okay with that. It's fine.
So this is
all right,
Bonnie.
do people have time to keep going?
Oh, that's
I
actually
really-
all of them.
Yeah, and I really do need to go here soon. So really what we should talk about are next steps. How do you guys want to continue to communicate with each other? And do you want to continue to work on this document?
For me, it's really a lot easier when we have everybody on board, so there's an exchange. I think that's what it's all about. I would prefer to have another meeting, because Dawn, you know, I've missed talking to you, and I'm sure we're missing a lot here. And I mean, the launch of this Envision 2030 could be something that, you know, we could be looking at right now. And so I just,
So I would suggest, May, that you and I have a conversation looking at this document, and we can schedule that offline. We don't have to talk about it here, but we can get together and go through the rest of it. And
For sure.
then if how does everybody else feel?
So this is Bonnie. I want to say that I made a list that I don't even see on this document of about 9 different things that I think are important, including one that I just want to read right now. We need to educate our young people to take active roles in creating their future to inhibit further climate change. How can the town of Netherlands support BVSD and local schools to become active agents for change, especially in regard to examining the worldview and orientation of our culture so it is more earth-centered?
absolutely, Bonnie. We haven't even gotten to the individual letters. That's why I think we need to have another meeting. So, can we, Dawn, so what do you think?
Sure,
Karen?
I think that. So I'm willing to, yeah, we can schedule it. Miranda, I think in that email she sent earlier, said if you feel like you need another meeting, we'll just get in touch with her. We can email her and schedule it. And in the meantime, you and I can look over and then, see what else is it that we haven't had it to address.
Yeah, and I apologize, Bonnie. The moving of the deadline out, there's just been, the changes in the timing is really hard for me to keep up with. So apologies for that, and we'll keep you in the loop, okay, on when the next meeting is. And Kayla, your insight's always invaluable as well. So I like to make it inclusive, and I think we get great results. So you guys will send out a email about that.
Yeah, I'll talk with Miranda tomorrow.
Okay. All right, yeah, I knew there was stuff in the letters and the format of going into each document and stuff. At a certain point, I just get dizzy. I suffer from headaches. I had one this weekend, so there's a limit to what I can do with this stuff. Looking at
Sorry
it.
to hear that, May.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Yeah, I think some other people had a hard time with this pressure system coming in, but whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, does
So
anybody
we'll
want to make
follow
it?
up. Staff will follow up with you. Peter's going to reach out to Miranda.
Okay.
And then she'll get back to you guys with maybe some potential dates and times.
Awesome.
And in the meantime, you guys can go and, of course, look at the doc and put in your notes and add to it and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Karen.
Sure.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank
Yes,
you. You
too.
too.
Thank
Yes,
you.
well.
Everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thank you.